About what's called an M check, and it's just a quick way of you checking your bike yourself when you're washing it weekly or every couple of weeks, and you can have a quick look over the bike. If you spot anything loose or dangerous on the bike, get it fixed, fix it yourself or down to a bike shop to get it fixed. We've mentioned it in the slides. It's so important that guys, you look after your bikes, keep your bikes clean, make sure nothing's loose and it's in good working order. It's your responsibility to look after your own bike, not the clubs, not your leaders in the group. It's your responsibility. Nothing as bad as being out in a spin and somebody's bike is constantly puncturing because they've bad tyres on, or their gears are slipping all over the place because they haven't changed the chain in a few years, or they haven't cleaned it or oiled it, or their brakes are poor and they're not stopping properly. You can cause an accident in the group and it'll be your fault because you haven't maintained your bike, or we're stopping at the side of the road all the time because you're puncturing or you poor pressure in your tyres. So look after your bikes, it's your responsibility. So the M check, so when you're washing your bike, which you should be doing every week, right? You pay enough for the bikes, so you should be looking after them. And just think of the letter M, and it's just a way of looking over your bike and to check everything is in good working order, okay? So you basically start down at the ground and think of the letter M, you move up through the rear stays, through the brakes, up to your saddle, back down to your bottom bracket, through your crank arm, down to your pedal, okay? Back up through your down tube, which up to your head tube here, and your headset, your handlebars, your brakes, back down through your front brake, through your fork, back down to the bottom and back down to your front tyre. And just check everything all along that letter M. Are your gears working? Are your tyres in good condition? Is there a buckle in your wheels? Are your spokes loose? Okay, are your gears working, your front derailleur? Is your chain worn? Okay, is your saddle okay? Bottle cages, they always go loose on a bike. Is your headset loose? Pull your front brake and rock your bike front and forward and you can feel if it's loose, or is it too tight and you're steering very stiff. You know, are your brakes all fine? With tyres, guys, check your tyres. It's the only thing between you and the ground. So you'll only generally get about 5,000 kilometres out of a set of tyres, but you might only get a couple of hundred kilometres out of your tyres depending on the conditions of the road. So check your tyres. Worth spending money on tyres. Generally when you buy a new bike, they put poor tyres on them, cheap tyres, so it's always well worth upgrading your tyres. You need to be spending about 40-50 euro per tyre, so about 100 euro for a set of good tyres on a bike. Reason being, they're good compound in them for wet conditions, and nice soft compound, but they'll also have a bit of puncture protection in them as well. So check your tyres, check your pressure in your tyres. Nowadays most of us are riding slightly wider tyres than we would have years ago, so most of us will be on at least 25mm tyres, some of us are on 28mm tyres, so about 100 psi is plenty for most riders on Irish roads. So check your pressure every couple of weeks. They do leak air, they're only rubber. With the brakes too, a lot of these are on disc brakes, a bit harder to check, but pop the wheel out, give them a good clean, check the discs, and if they're rubbing or making noises, just down to the bike shop to get them sorted. But just take your letter M, have a quick look over the bike and check it, and it's your responsibility. Really can't stress it enough to look after your own bike.